This is Top 30.
Welcome to the show. I'm Richard Bacon.
And I'm Kristen Smith. We have 30 stories in 30 minutes. Coming up, the FDA has approved a drug that finally brings relief for those who suffer from migraines. There's a new trend of leasing pets and a new law to stop it. And Backstreet's back. One of our favorite boy bands has just released their first single in 5 years.
But first, it is getting easier to travel using frequent flyer miles. A new survey by IdeaWorks measured how easy it is for travellers to redeem miles or points for the least expensive tickets on popular routes flown by 25 airlines. The Southwest program came in at #1 with 100% availability, meaning a seat could be booked using miles on nearly every flight. About 1 out of 7 Southwest passengers last year had a ticket booked with rewards. JetBlue came in second with about 94% availability. The American Airlines program rose 28 points from the year before to take third place. For years, travellers have complained there were too few seats that could be booked with miles or that they cost too many points. Many airlines have also changed the way flyers earn miles. They accumulate based on money spent, not miles flown. The change tends to benefit business travellers. Experts said some airlines have made changes to their miles program in order to earn more loyal customers. All right, let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend and mine, Nicole Pedalides. Nicole, I'm hearing there is big news coming out of the FDA.
That's right, Richard. FDA has approved a new drug designed to prevent migraines. The medication is supposed to be administered through a monthly injection. As for the price, the manufacturer said it would cost patients just under $7,000 per year. Salad lovers rejoice. The CDC says that the romaine lettuce E. coli outbreak could be nearing the end. The reason, well, the last shipment of romaine from the region blamed for the outbreak left just about a month ago. Due to its 3-week shelf life, it should no longer be on store shelves. New details about Elon Musk's vision for the new Loop Tunnel in Los Angeles. He wants to charge $1 for a 150-mile-per-hour ride, which could get commuters from downtown LA to the airport in just 8 minutes.
And Nicole, what made him choose LA for this project?
He first got the idea while stuck in traffic a few years back. The goal of the project is to reduce the number of cars on the road, making it easier to get around the city.
That sounds like a very good thing. Nicole, in New York, thank you.
Hawaii's Kilauea volcano erupted and shot a plume of ash more than 6 miles into the sky. Experts warn it could trigger more powerful eruptions in the near future, and there's no way to predict exactly when they could happen. And for the first time in its 96-year history, women will lead the 2 main branches of the Miss America organization. Even better, both women had previously competed in the pageant themselves. They hope to usher in a new era of progressiveness, inclusiveness, and empowerment following a sexual harassment scandal with past leadership. The Smithsonian Museum unveiled a new portrait of Henrietta Lacks, an African-American woman whose cells led to many scientific breakthroughs. Her contributions to medicine were unknown even to her because her cells were harvested without her consent in 1951. But HeLa cells, as they're known, have led to the polio vaccine, gene mapping, and in vitro fertilization, just to name a few. And Backstreet's back. For the first time in 5 years, the Backstreet Boys have released a new single. It's called Don't Go Breaking My Heart.
Baby, don't go breaking my heart, breaking my heart.
And their boy band dance moves are sending us straight back to the 90s. Okay, let's go to Danielle Knox now from Fox 35 Orlando. She has what you need to know today. Danielle, I hear after-school activities for kids might not be all positive when it comes to life at home.
Hi, Kristen. Well, many parents put their kids in all kinds of activities, and now researchers say it could actually hurt the family. Researchers at York University find a majority of kids do several activities a day, leading to exhaustion for the kids and frustration for the parents. They also found the number of activities puts a financial strain on parents, potentially putting marriages at risk. Well, if you only eat one vegetable, make it broccoli. A new Harvard University study suggests broccoli may be the do-it-all vegetable. The research points to the way it moves through your gut, improving gut health. A healthier gut can lead to less anxiety, stress, and depression. Well, do you own a dog? you might have a better shot at love more. In a poll commissioned by on-demand dog walking service WAG, the results show pets have a say in how far their owners go with a suitor. 4 out of 5 dog owners revealed it's important that their pet give the paw stamp of approval when dating. And 3 out of 10 dog parents have used their dogs to attract somebody who's caught their eye. The wingman, or wing dog, so to speak. And that's what you need to know. Kristen, let's go back to you now. Let's go dog walking too, huh?
All right, sounds like a date. Thanks, Danielle. Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. Dogs are known as man's best friend, and buying one can be very expensive. An option called pet leasing has become more popular. It's basically a payment plan with the dog used as collateral, meaning the animal can be repossessed if the buyer can't keep up with payments. But state legislators in New York are looking into banning pet leasing. Critics say the practice preys on people who can't afford animals and can add hidden fees that increase the price to 2 or 3 times the original cost. Pet stores utilize the option because it allows them to sell the expensive dogs while they're still puppies and most attractive to buyers. If approved, New York would join Nevada and California to ban pet leasing outright. Now let's go to Andrea Robinson from Fox 10 in Phoenix. She brings you this week's life hacks. So Andrea, what do you have for us this week?
Well, hey, Kristen, first up this week, we have a life hack for your yard. You know, you're spending a lot of time outside and you might notice those weeds popping up, so you can get rid of them naturally. Baking soda to the rescue yet again. Sprinkle that on the area where you see the weeds. Keep sprinkling it over the course of the days until they're completely gone and have died, and then you can use it whenever you want when you start to see them pop back up. Next, a way to get rid of pet hair, the pesky pet hair that lingers on your furniture and your clothes. You don't need a lint brush, just go to the laundry room. A dryer sheet will do the trick. And lastly, another use for apple cider vinegar. This one for your face, a natural toner, especially if you're acne prone. 1 part apple cider vinegar to 2 parts of water. Put it on a cotton ball, swipe it over your face, use it throughout the day, morning or night, and for as long as you need it, and your skin should look as good as new, nice and clear as well. Kristen, those are your life hacks for this week. Back to you.
All right, all good stuff. Thanks, Andrea. Well, known for centuries for its medicinal benefits, charcoal has recently become the hottest ingredient in beauty care, appearing in soaps, face masks, and now teeth whiteners. Which is why we've got today's Top 30 deal, the Nuva White Whitening System for 2 Charcoal Edition. This easy-to-use teeth whitening system utilizes blue LED light technology and dental-grade charcoal whitener to produce results as good as those of an in-office dental treatment, minus the pain and high cost. The gel formula is kosher certified, FDA compliant, and cruelty-free. And the set includes 2 of everything, so you and your partner can both sport dazzling smiles. The whitening system for 2 Charcoal Edition retails for as much as $259, but today you can buy it for just $29. That's about an 89% discount. And you can get this right now at top30deals.com while they last.
Welcome back to Top 30. Tinder is testing a new feature that tracks users' locations and displays them to others. Tinder Places shows where users have been for the last 28 days. The company says it can show users potential matches that have been to the same spots, but it's also raised concerns about privacy. I'm not sure about the premise. I understand what they're doing, which is it will show other people where you have been, not your home, not your work, not things like doctor surgeries, but cafes, restaurants, theatres.
So you can see if you have common interests.
Yeah, I'm not sure that works. Like, you know, like when I go to get a coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, I don't think I have that much in common with other people that get a coffee there, other than that they like coffee. Yeah. I don't want to date them.
Okay, but coffee can be a very bonding thing. Your, you know, mutual
But if someone
affection
comes
for coffee.
to my house for a coffee, sure.
Yeah, they say that they'll only display it for a few weeks and then it won't be in the system. But what if Tinder gets hacked? I hate to even put that out there. I mean, Tinder's fine right now, but what if something happened where people got a hold of this information?
So they could get hacked and they release all this information of how many times you've been to Dunkin' Donuts.
And it's just weird.
Devastating. It's the last thing I want anyone to know.
Yeah. You drink a lot of coffee, too. That would be weird. Okay, how about this story? Science says over the last 30 years, pop songs have gotten sadder. Researchers cataloged the moods of 500,000 hits from 1985 to 2015. Tunes with a high happiness index include this song by Wham. Okay, that's a good song. They say one song with a low happiness index is Stay With Me by Sam Smith.
Stay with me, 'cause you're all
Okay, I love that song though. That's a great song. It really is.
I mean, it's a good song. I actually find modern pop songs generally quite whiny. Sam Smith, Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
I think we're in an age where people share emotions more. And perhaps that is why younger people now want what sounds like sincerity. Whereas as an older person listening to them, I don't think they sound very sincere. I just think you're 20 years old lecturing me about all your sort of emotions and you've had very little life experience.
You're like, get over it.
You're fine, get over it.
Yeah, quit whining. I went through a breakup in 2010. You know what I listened to?
No.
Adele.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good sad
You make you
album right
sadder.
there.
Why-
I know, but
why-
I wanted
why-
to wallow in my sadness during that time, and I did, and it was very gratifying.
You would have been far better off listening to Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Clearly. Top 30 will be right back.
In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 5 New York, Dr. Nadia Lopez opened the Mott Hall Bridges Academy in 2010 with one goal in mind, to give every child the same opportunity to learn. In the Brownsville neighborhood of Brooklyn, only 32% of residents have earned a high school diploma, and only 14% have a college degree. So her mantra has been open a school to close a prison. And so far, it's working. The school has a 100% graduation rate, and nationally recognized crowdfunding campaigns have helped send their students to college. Our next story from Fox 32 Chicago. Joe Willis had a different set of circumstances to overcome when it came to graduating. The Indiana University student recently had complications from a heart transplant, but the staff at his Chicago hospital weren't going to let that stop him from getting his master's degree. Setting up their own ceremony, the dean of the IU Business School proudly presented Willis with his diploma.
You'll be surprised what you can do when you just have to stay positive and keep going, and everything will work out.
Our final story from Fox 10 Phoenix. Mary Traub has 300 skydives under her belt. So when she began taking her son, Nick, to the iFly Flight School program, she couldn't resist giving it a try herself. Well, now the two compete together at indoor skydiving competitions.
It's awesome. It's a great bonding experience because a lot of times a parent and a child can't really compete in the same sport on the same team.
These two have really taken the mother-son bonding thing to new heights. Welcome back to Top 30. Some people just don't work well with bosses, and now there's a study to explain why. People don't take direction well if they routinely view it as a sign of being distrusted. People may also have a hard time with listening to a boss if they don't understand the reason for that person's behavior. So, I know you easily comply to any boss's request.
I deliberately fall out with bosses. I'm almost suspicious of anyone who wants to be a boss. And I'm very bad. I'm much better at taking direction if you don't give me any, which obviously that statement makes no sense.
No, it does. Wait, pause there. It does make sense. There was actually a study or an experiment where people in this study gave out fake money, and people would donate more or give more if they didn't tell them how much to give.
No, yes, I saw that. If they were given no minimum. So if you said the minimum you can give out is $10, people would just give out $10. But if you say here's no minimum, then they gave out more. But this is specifically to the contrary people. So they looked and did a brain scan. There's two parts of the brain where there's special activity in contrary people like me who aren't very good with bosses. And I think it's a thing, I think there's a point in childhood where every single person has this contrary thing. And in some of us, it just doesn't get switched off.
Right.
And mine has never been. That's
you
that's
don't like
it.
to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, it works.
Fired. Love it. Facial, I'm really good at it as well. Facial recognition, you'll meet no one better. Facial recognition is being used for a lot of things, but a school in China is hoping it helps students learn. The school installed it in a high school classroom and hope to put it into more classrooms soon. Kristen, you love this story.
I actually don't at all. I think kids should be able to feel however they want to feel without some robot writing a note to the teacher. Wow. So what if the report comes back and is like, oh, this child felt sad today?
Yeah, but that machine's only doing what teachers do anyway. Like, a teacher will go, Steve, buck up your ideas, you look bored. You know, why are you asleep? Why are you giggling? That's what we're doing anyway.
There's so much more to it, though. Like, why are you sad? Well, because something's going on at home that's making me sad. That doesn't mean I'm not going to get an A on the test.
Maybe the computer will go, right, this kid is sad. Maybe we need to sit and talk to him.
No, you need to let him be a human and be be sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anyway, it's in China, not here. In some restaurants, the presentation of the food is almost as important as the taste of the meal. Okay, there's a Twitter and Reddit account called We Want Plates. I love it. People post the weirdest way their food is served, and it's super artistic. I have a feeling you love this as well, just because you like the arts. And this is artsy.
Crockery is something we've nailed. So you don't really need to serve steak on some charcoal or fish on a flip-flop. I even get annoyed when in a restaurant they bring me a square plate, because I think that's an attempt at being, whether it's posh or contemporary. But I'm like, no, we've invented the plate, it's round, it works. Right? Don't worry, focus on the food, don't worry about the crockery.
But it works so much better on a flip-flop. Or the ice cream on the frozen flowers. Did you see the ice cream on the frozen flowers?
No, I'm saying this, you think this is a tribute to these ideas.
I think it's...
the feed is taking the mickey out of it.
No, and I like it. I just think it's beautiful visually. Have you seen the bacon being held up by the clothespins?
I have not seen it, and I will not see it. It sounds revolting.
Okay. Top 30, we'll be right back.
Welcome back. According to the Federal Reserve, the average American's credit card debt in March was $8,151 per US household and about $3,150 per individual. The average credit card holder has 3.7 cards in total, and one credit counseling expert says extra plastic leads to extra spending. In fact, 58% of Americans say they've maxed out a credit card at least once, and 61% have maxed out several cards. Overspending can rack up debt on a credit card, but many people use theirs to pay for unexpected medical bills, with healthcare costs being the #1 reason for bankruptcy. 3 things credit experts recommend for avoiding debt are to have an emergency fund, charge only what you can afford, and try to pay your balance in full every month. All right, fixing a pothole in the street always seems to be a city's last priority. So people from Europe all the way to Toronto are doing something about it on their own. They're not fixing them, but they're certainly fixing them up by planting beautiful flowers. Now, instead of swerving for a pothole, you might notice at the last minute, drivers are able to avoid the hole because they notice the flowers. But it's also a protest and an effort to get the city's attention so they'll fix the poor road conditions. It's easy to see why the Department of Transportation might have a hard time keeping up. This year alone, Toronto has already filled 151,092 potholes. AAA estimates that about $3 billion in damage is caused to vehicles in the United States from potholes every single year.
Earlier this year, Dave Fullerton from Baltimore, Maryland, was cleaning out his late friend's basement when he discovered an urn filled with ashes. After looking through some pictures, he found out the ashes belonged to former Army Captain Larry Casey, who served in Vietnam for 4 years. Casey passed away in 2002 and happened to be best friends with Fullerton's late friend. Fullerton couldn't locate any surviving members of Casey's family, so he reached out to the Baltimore National Cemetery to hold an unaccompanied burial service with full military honors. Fullerton took to social media to ask veterans to attend, and thanks to a helpful retweet from CNN's Jake Tapper, the post went viral. Because of the added exposure, Fullerton was able to find Casey's family. His widowed wife, Jan, and daughter, Leah, who now live in Georgia and Texas, flew out to Baltimore on one day's notice to attend the funeral. It turns out they had already held a military funeral for Larry back in 2002, but now 16 years later, they were overwhelmed by the outpouring of support. More than 200 people attended Casey's second funeral. Welcome back to Top 30. Elizabeth Stanton from Popstar Magazine has the scoop on where jet-setting celebs love to spend their summers. So, Liz, where are you taking us today?
That's right, Kristen. One international location that draws tons of celebs every summer is the French Riviera. And hey, you can't blame them. The gorgeous coastlines and sparkling blue water are hard to beat. The center of all the action is Nice. It's the gateway to the Côte d'Azur, and Nice's Old Town is a fabulous place to visit. Our next pick is Ez. Perched high above the sea, this tiny medieval village offers great views, authentic shopping, and remarkably well-preserved stone buildings if you're a history buff. Last but not least, you've got the rich and indulgent city of Cannes, particularly popular and full of well-dressed celebrities during the famed Cannes Film Festival, running each year through the month of May and celebrating its 71st year. The festival has seen its share of red carpet standouts, groundbreaking films, and political statements. So if you're booking tickets to the French Riviera, Kristen, take me with you.
I definitely will. Thanks, Liz.
Well, that is it for today's show. Here's what's coming up on the next Top 30. More than 2/3 of flight attendants say they've been sexually harassed. A new bill aims to stop that. Plus, researchers hope to find the fountain of youth for dogs, and this robot kept a sick teen from missing her high school graduation. You can also listen to the day's biggest stories by subscribing to the new Top 30 podcast. See you next time here on Top 30.